All right, welcome to this second episode of Fight Picks. Today I have Taylor Moore, which I challenged after I smoked James Gray on the last one. I'll go through the game rules, and then Taylor will go over the fight picks, and then we will reveal both of our picks for the fight card and how much money we bet on them. So, rule number one for the game rules is we have $1,000 total to bet. Rule number two, our bets must be in before the show. Rule number three, we must bet at least $100 on each fight. Rule number four, the largest profit wins. So even if Taylor gets 4 out of 5 picks right and I get 2 out of 5, but if I bet on a larger amount I could win, then I would still win, even though he has more picks right than me. And rule number 5 is the winner becomes the host, and then they will issue a challenge for the next person they want to go against.
All right, and the fights this Saturday the main event's gonna be Derek Brunson versus Edmund Shabazian. The co-main event's gonna be Joanne Calderwood versus Jennifer Maya. The fight before that's gonna be Vincent Lique versus Randy Brown, and then we have Lando Venata versus Bobby Green, and then Kevin Holland versus Trevin Giles.
All right, so because I'm the reigning champ, I will announce my first pick of the night, which is going to be the first fight, the Kevin Holland and Trevin Giles fight. For that fight, I picked Kevin Holland, and I am betting $150 on that. For that pick, I honestly don't know too much about either guy. I know Kevin's fought some tough dudes, and he has a pretty good record. They've been a little bit back and forth, but I just decided to go with Kevin on that one.
All right. I agreed. I also picked Kevin Holland. I only bet $100 though. One thing that stuck out about that fight with me is Kevin Holland has 7 inches of reach on Giles. And I went back and looked at the people they fought, and they both have fought. I mean, I feel like Kevin Holland's fought in better competition. Giles was fighting kind of bums right off the bat, but he's looked good in his last couple, but I feel like the reach advantage will play a big factor in that one.
Nice. All right, so for fight number 2, which is Lando Venata versus Bobby Green, that fight was super tough for me. I know they fought before and they went to a draw against each other. Bobby Green, the last couple fights, he's been losing a lot. His wins, I mean, they've been against like Eric Koch and stuff like that, which is still a tough guy. I feel like Lando's just a little bit younger. His striking and creativity is amazing. I love watching him fight. So I decided to go with Lando, and I am betting $225 on Lando.
All right. I also agreed with that one. I picked Lando as well, only for $100. That one was a toss-up for me as well. I agree. I like Lando's style. He's really flashy, throws crazy things. I don't think I've seen their first fights, but both of them seem to be real on and off, like win, lose, win, lose. And they both kind of seem to be at that level where they beat all the guys below them, but then as soon as they get like a big fight, they lose it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm picking Lando just based on his creativity.
Yeah, that fight was really tough for me because, like, dude, Bobby Green has fought some of the toughest dudes, and he's done well against them.
Yeah.
I just feel like he's a little later off in his career.
Bobby Green reminds me of like a Michael Johnson.
Yes.
And but Lando's also maybe like 4 or 5 years younger, so I kind of gave him that edge as well. But yeah.
All right, so for the third fight of the night, we have that Vicente Luque versus Randy Brown. I honestly, again, don't know too much about Randy Brown. I looked him up a little bit. But I know I've watched Vicente Luque fight a lot. He has very good striking. He's from a very good gym. They have a lot of tough dudes. They have Kamaru Usman there. And I just feel like that camp's been doing great. I just feel like his power is going to make a big difference in this fight. And I picked him for $175.
I picked Vincent Lique as well, but I bet $300 on this one. Yeah, I feel like his power is going to play a big factor. He pressures super heavy, And I don't think Randy has fought the competition that he's going to bring to the table. And, yeah, I feel like he's going to crumble under pressure, and Like is going to get like a TKO finish.
Damn, that is a fight that could really change our money bets.
Yeah.
All right, the co-main event of the night, we got Joanne Calderwood and Jennifer Maia. They are both super tough. I don't really know if I see them ever becoming champs, but they are very high up in the division. Jennifer Maia's had some really good wins against Roxanne Modafferi. Joanne Calderwood just beat one of our friends, Andrea Lee. She's got great striking. She's pretty well-rounded. I know Jennifer probably has an advantage on the ground, but I feel like Joanne's going to pick her apart a little bit on the feet, and she'll probably have good enough takedown defense to win this fight. So I picked Joanne, and I bet $250 on Joanne.
All right, so one that we didn't agree on, I picked Maia for 100. This fight was a toss-up for me because I've never seen Maia fight. But I looked up some of her recent fights, and I feel like she's got a good grappling base, and I feel like if Calderwood was going to struggle at all, it would be with a good grappler. But I wouldn't be surprised with either one of them winning.
Yeah, same. I when I was thinking about that fight, like I know Andrea is mainly a striker, but she does have great jiu-jitsu and wrestling as well, which is why like I thought Jennifer Maia is probably not that much better on the ground or anything than Andrea, which I guess that fight was mainly stand-up anyway, so it's hard to tell. But just because she was able to hold her own there, I just have her picking that.
Okay.
Getting that win. Okay, so for the main event of the evening, Derek Brunson and Edmund Shabazian. For that fight, this is super tough for me because Edmund is like that new up-and-comer. He's got great striking. He's powerful. He even mixes up takedowns, got good grappling, good submissions. He's going to be one of those guys that is like the next up-and-comer. But then you have Derek Brunson, who's super experienced. He's fought the toughest dudes out there. Obviously, he's lost by knockout to like Stylebender, Jacare, those type of guys. But with that experience, he's also very powerful. Not as technical with his striking, but super dangerous. This fight was super tough, but because of the odds, I decided to go with Derek Brunson, and I bet $200 on Derek.
All right. I put 400 on Edmund Shabazian. Because two reasons. What I was thinking about before this fight is Edmund's striking's a lot cleaner. He mixes it in good with his grappling, and I see Brunson ball up when he gets pressured hard, and he's got a glass jaw. He gets wobbled easy, and I think Edmund's going to tag him with a few nice, clean shots, and he's going to get wild, and he's going to get put away inside 2 rounds.
Damn.
And I seriously think that because I've watched Brunson fight, and every time I've picked him, he's gotten knocked out. And so I don't really think he's that good. Yeah. I think he at this point he's a gatekeeper. I think he's tough, and I think he's been around for a while. He's got more experience, but I feel like Edmund's going to be hungrier. He's younger, and we'll see. That'll prove if he's ready for the next level yet or not.
Yeah, that was the thing with Edmund. I'm like, man, he's definitely very good. You can watch his skill, and he's beaten some pretty good guys, but he definitely has not fought anybody at the level or the level of the people Derek Brunson's fought. So that weighed on me pretty heavy for that pick. Man, that is tough because, like you said, Derek Brunson's chin's kind of going, and he is getting to the end of his career. And like a lot of times, that's the one of like make or break moments. Like either you see those guys like Verdum last weekend. I picked Gustafsson. I thought he was going to pick him apart, strike. I mean, I thought it would be somewhat close on the feet. I just thought he was a little bit cleaner and would pick him apart, wouldn't get taken down because he's got great takedown defense, like we saw him against Jones. And then you see these old guys just take him down, pull out these wins.
Gustafsson hasn't looked the same really since that Jones fight, though.
Yeah, and then when he got knocked out by Rumble.
Yeah.
That was a tough loss for him too. So that's like that moment where it's either going to be one of those moments where you're like, yep, Derek Brunson, it's time for him to retire, or you're like, he's still got a couple good fights left in him. He's a good gatekeeper. So
Yeah.
that fight will be very interesting to see.
Yeah, I don't feel like he'll ever get to the title, but I feel like that's something that he probably knows, and that's when you kind of already have that in your mind versus somebody that's chasing to get there. I feel like that could play a factor in it, and that's kind of what backed my pick.
Yeah. So let's say you come out, you win, and you have the largest profit. Who do you think you're going to go against next? Who are you going to pick to go against next?
Has Dante been on this yet?
Dante has not been on it.
I'd like to slap Dante up in the picks. He's cocky, so I'd like to humble him.
Okay, that's a good one. I could see that being a really good show. For me, I already called it out the week before when I said I was going to smash James. I was like, you know what? The next person I'm picking is Taylor. And then after I beat Taylor, I'm going for Danny Barry.
That was my next pick was Danny. Yeah.
So you're going to humble Dante if you win and then go after and humble Danny too?
I want to see them both get humbled. So if you win, I'll be happy because then you could beat him. And then if I win, I'll humble Dante.
Hell yeah. Awesome. Well, best of luck.
You too.
All right. Good job.